Hello, 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 and welcome to today's episode of Her Version. This podcast is dedicated to sharing stories of struggle to triumph, a platform that allows individuals to tell their truth in order to inspire and uplift others. I am your host, Sabrina Victoria. If you are new to this podcast, make sure you follow, like, subscribe, and share. Let's jump right in. Hello, and thank you for joining us today on this episode of Her Version. The Her Version platform is built on storytelling and the understanding that many times our greatest learning experiences come from listening to other people's stories. Today, I am speaking with an amazing woman named Carrie Phelps. Carrie is here today to talk about a fairy tale life that pivoted into a whirlwind of challenges that she never would have expected. She is here today to talk about trusting the universe, finding your passion, and how yoga changed her life. Welcome, Carrie.
Hi.
How are you?
So good. Thank you for having me, Sabrina.
Yes. Thanks for joining. I know that you have so many things that you have going on in your world right now. So I so appreciate you taking some time to sit down with me and talk to our audience about your journey and how you got to where you are right now, which is an amazing place. And I'm super excited to hear all of the awesome things that you have going on in your life right now. How was your weekend?
It was great. I had a little bit of time with my boys, and I had a little bit of a struggle with the deal that's I'm doing both sides. I was a little worried it might fall through. I think we're going to be fine. We might just close a little bit later. That's, the real estate world. So, yeah, and then I had a little bit of friend time as well. So good life balance.
Yes, we're not always so lucky. So that's cool that happened for you this weekend. That's awesome. I actually just went to my fiance's triathlon this weekend. It was on Saturday, and it was the longest one he's ever done. And he was happy with his time and got to spend some really awesome quality time with some friends. So that was super cool for us.
That's awesome.
Yes.
I've only
Listen,
half marathons, and my legs would always cramp at like mile 10. I think I did 7 of them, and I finally gave up my goal of a marathon. So kudos to him. No.
I'm right there with you for real. I was kind of joking. We were talking, everyone was kind of talking about the things that they've done and all of the stuff. And, they're like, we've done 16 and we've done 30 and we've done Ironmans and triathlons, all this stuff. And I'm over here, I'm like, I've done a few 5Ks. Just like three, just like 3 miles.
Yeah.
And then my fiance's friend's wife was like, yeah, I run 5 miles every day. I'm like, oh my gosh, I need to start working on my fitness goals. It can be intimidating.
Yes, it can.
It can be intimidating. Well, listen, I am so excited to jump in and talk a little bit about your journey, what you've been through in your world, and what you're doing now. So I'd love to just kind of open the floor to you and kind of just have you explain your childhood and what your life kind of looked like as a child, young teenager.
Okay. Well, I feel like I feel very blessed. I truly had like the fairy tale childhood. My parents were together. I think one time I heard them argue, and my dad just went out to work on the boat. Like they literally were best friends. If they argued, I didn't know about it. And they truly, my dad was an entrepreneur and my mom worked for him. And so they worked together a lot, and they really encouraged us girls to just really, go after whatever set our soul on fire in life. And so, young, it was like dance and I did a lot of dancing. Oh my goodness. I think I danced like 5 or 6 days a week. Um,
Wow.
I danced a
What
lot.
kind of dance?
Everything. I did hip hop, everything. And then my main focus became ballet. And so it was very structured. And now looking back, I feel like that's probably what helped me become very, dedicated and strong resistance to like keep going for my goals. Cause, ballet was I'd have bloody toes sometimes.
Yes.
And one of my favorite dance teachers, he taught me the word tenacious. And he used to always pick on me and I didn't like it. And I remember coming home and like, Mom, why is he always picking on me? He like demonstrates everything on me. He like makes, and I didn't like it. And other girls were getting jealous because I was getting all this attention. I didn't want it. And I finally had a meeting with him, with my mom. And he's like, it's just because I see something more in you than like you're seeing in yourself. And he's like, I'm just trying to get you to believe in yourself and like go after it and be tenacious with life. And so, I'm grateful for that.
Yes.
If I was like, wow, he was so amazing because he truly helped me get out of my shell. I was very shy and quiet as a young girl. I remember, so dance helped me kind of, get out of my comfort zone because I was very much an introvert, which if you meet me now, you'd be like, what?
Yeah.
Dance, it really did help me get me out and feel more confident in my skin, I think. And I remember sitting down at the dinner table and I was like, I'm gonna go out for cheerleading. And my dad was like, that's great. Go after it, but just you gotta like use your voice, like be in front of people, right? And I think dance had gotten me used to being on stage and in front of people. And I actually made captain. I think because I was, with dance, I was, limber and whatever. And cheerleading really helped get me out of my shell even more, just finding my strong inner voice and my confidence. And so that was super fun. And grades were not always easy for me. I also was very blessed to have a principal that again saw like something.
Wow.
And I remember him stopping me in the hall and he was like, Carrie, like, I don't feel like you're working to your potential with grades. And I was like, yeah, I'm getting by. I was more of a social bug. I really could care less about school. And so he's like, I'm going to send you to Iowa State. It's this Greek getaway thing. It was like a sober weekend on campus with all the, fraternities and sororities. And I went to that. I had so much fun. And so the social butterfly in me was like, I'm going to go to Iowa State and I'm going to be a Chi Omega. And, like literally that's the only school I applied to. I went to Iowa State. I went to Chi Omega. I, worked on getting my grades up and my principal wrote me a letter recommendation because I went from like an ABC student to like all A's with a couple B's. So
wow.
that really taught me like the power of like believing in yourself and like really when you put energy towards something like you can achieve more. So
Yes. Yeah. What was your dance teacher's name? Let's do a shout out.
Kenneth Overly, and he's
What
passed
was
Kenneth
Oh, he passed away?
Yes, but you know what the awesome thing is about Facebook and social media is I found him again on social media. He had moved, I believe, to Vermont. I'm in Iowa, and I found him and I got to have that conversation with him, letting him know that like I truly was like, like moved and like he did help me grow as a person. And so
Yes. So many people never get a chance to do that. I love that you did that. That actually kind of like makes me think because I think about two of my teachers a couple, every once in a while that really like hit, personally with me and I think about reaching out to them every once in a blue moon, but they die.
oh yeah.
So like
Reach out to them. Life's short.
yes, that's what I mean. Life's short. So yeah, when people make an impact and then sometimes you don't realize it until years later.
Yes.
But reach out to them.
Yeah.
Oh, I love that you were able to do that. So I know that went a while for a very long time, as far as living this life and everything just kind of falling into place according to how
Yeah.
you kind of wanted it to fall, all the way through to college.
Yeah, so my senior year, I went to college just thinking like I'm gonna find my soulmate here. And I got to my senior year and I was like, well, maybe not. And I actually met my husband my senior year. We got married. We're very happy. We were best friends. We had two amazing, healthy little boys. So very blessed there. And life was just wonderful. Honestly, like we were very blessed. We had kind of financial freedom. I used my degree. I was 10 years into management with big companies. And then as I had our second one a little bit end of the way, he was like, you know what, why don't you stop working and just enjoy this time with them? And so I was blessed to do that. And so, yeah, I mean, everything was beautiful. And my dad used to always tell me, he's like, you're living the dream.
Did you know, like, while this was happening and while your life was unfolding, did you realize at that time while you were living it, that you were, you know, um, just kind of hitting it out of the park? Did you realize it? Isn't that funny? Isn't that funny? But what made you realize it?
So I realized it when everything began to like fall apart.
Yes. Isn't that crazy? So talk about that. Explain that, because I think that this is so important for people to realize. A lot of times we think that the bad is so bad, and it is. It is. But the bad is what really makes us feel grateful for the good. So
Yeah.
can you kind of dive into that and let us know, like, how old were you, first of all, when
Yeah.
things kind of started to take a turn?
That's actually one of my favorite yoga things is like, like you have to experience the valleys to get to the peaks, and like all the good grows in the valleys. Right.
Yes.
So yeah.
Yes.
So I think I was around 38. It was probably 3 years prior where I felt like my marriage was starting to unravel a little bit, and we both knew we were like kind of growing apart. Just I don't know, we just weren't connecting. We really tried. We tried hard for 3 years to really, try different things and work together. I will just say that it was toxic. And so, it's very easy to blame, the other person. And there were a lot of things externally that he could have changed. But, afterwards diving inward, there was a lot of things I could have changed too. And so, it's introspected. It takes two, right? And we were really trying hard to make it work, but it just wasn't. And I remember consciously making a decision that I knew this was unhealthy for my soul was losing happiness, and I thought it was kind of toxic for the boys. But I just made a decision I was going to stay. And
Oh,
I
wow.
stayed for 3 more years. And it just none of us were happy, right? And so it's awesome now because now we're friends, and I had to
Yes.
go through that experience to get to the other side, but I feel like now we're friends, and I had to realize, like, to get over that. Well, the reason that I decided to end that, honestly, is because I got news that my healthy entrepreneur dad that was only 60, he got news that he had 6 months to live. He had
Oh, wow.
spread cancer through his body. Um, And so that just like really shook and woke me up to life is so short, and doesn't matter like how healthy we think we are, mentally, physically, like anything can happen tomorrow, the next minute, the next second. And so it woke me up to like, am I living with passion and purpose? And am I truly happy? And am I living the life that I want? And is this healthy? Is this healthy for any of us in this family? And, is this a good example for our boys? And they're learning that this is love and marriage, and it wasn't so great.
Yeah, yeah.
So it was really like my boys coming to me and pointing out that this wasn't healthy. And and my dad's quickly passing that made me realize that life is short. And like, if you're not living the life of your dreams, then like, what are you doing? You're just kind of floating through life, and that's fine if that's where you want to be. But I decided at that moment that I wanted and deserved more, not just for me, but for my boys.
Absolutely. How old were your boys, by the way?
Oh my goodness. Well, they're 14 and 16 now, and it was about 7, 8 years ago. So whatever that is,
Wow, what like intuitive young men.
yes, they're very smart. They're awesome. They like teach me stuff all the time.
Wow.
Awesome.
So what was the result of your dad?
So my dad, he got diagnosed and he tried chemo, which I would never do that myself. I think I would try other remedies, but
Wow.
I feel like the chemo made him more sick than the cancer did, unfortunately. But he tried, and I would say the only silver lining with cancer and that happening is that like we got to like cherish the time, and we got to have heart to hearts and spend more quality time together and say our goodbyes. And so that was really amazing. And actually with our goodbye, neither of us, like, we never really went to church or anything kind of growing up. I went to church a little bit when I had the boys and got them baptized, but I really wasn't really religious. I really wasn't even spiritual. But I did know the Lord's Prayer from going to the little bits of church that I did. And when my dad was laying there, I knew it was soon. He'd kind of been like in and out. And I was like, well, maybe we should say that just in case, like, right? And so we said it together, and I feel very blessed again. Because
Oh.
in that experience, like, I witnessed him, like, he was like, wow, what is that light? And I was like, what light, Dad? Like, what are you talking about? And he's like, what is that light? What are those two dark things coming at us? And I was like, I don't know what you're talking about. And so I just kind of got quiet, and he like was mumbling. And then I remember him saying like, Friday, Saturday, Sunday, Monday, I come home. And I was like, okay. And then he kind of like went to sleep, and I was like, Dad, like, what are you talking? Like, what? And he was like, what day is it? And I was like, it's Friday. And he was like, okay, good. And he went to sleep. And he literally passed away on Monday, like at like way, way early in the morning on Tuesday, like Monday night at midnight.
Wow.
So that like really grew me spiritually, as like just being trusting a little bit in the universe and a higher power. Um, yeah, so it was like sad but awesome. And I had already filed for divorce, and I think his biggest thing was he was like sad he wouldn't be there to like see me through. Um, so I know he was like upset about that, but I feel like it also that experience opened me up to trusting more in a higher power in the universe and God, whatever you want to call that. And trusting, like seeing signs, like I started like seeing like little white feathers everywhere, and started seeing there was a ton of money that I found, like $10, $15, just like laying on the ground. It was crazy. And when I was Googling, those are all signs that like your angel's near.
Oh,
Yeah, so it was
absolutely.
kind of cool. So I feel like he's still here with me. It's weird how like I don't, and then all of a sudden I'll like get some sort of sign. And so I just like to still bring him with me on my journey through life.
Yes, yes. So did you when all this was happening and kind of like flowing through your head and the journey was kind of happening, did you speak to your husband at the time about how this situation with your father was impacting your thought process on the marriage? Like, did you explain to him what you explained to me?
Yeah, we talked. I feel like at that point we were at a point where we just weren't really talking, you know. It took all my mustering up just to let him know. And it just seemed like he didn't care at that point. I don't know. It was sad. But, we've come back around. We've come full circle. I feel like we're friends now for the boys. And I had to go through that, letting myself uh, honor the wound. I feel like is what I called it, like just honoring the wound, honoring that we came together for a reason, and maybe that wasn't to be together forever, but maybe that reason was to have the boys, and to be lifelong friends, and be there for them, and I feel like we both love them very much, and so it was just it wasn't meant to be forever.
How long did it take you to kind of get to a point where you guys were good? Was the divorce and everything pretty much okay, or was there some rockiness that you kind of had to get over?
Yeah, there was rockiness. I feel like we tried to do like a collaborative thing. It took us I think it was a year. We drug it out the whole year before it was official. And I don't know. I feel like right away, though, we just both knew it was just probably for the best. And
Got it.
yeah, I don't know. I feel like I did honor the wound. I cried the cries. I witnessed, what it was in the moment, and realized that it was just time. It was just time to let go. And
Yeah.
it didn't serve me to like hold on to something that was no longer working, or serving me or serving our family or the boys. And yeah.
I know one of the biggest issues that mothers and fathers, I'm sure, definitely have is the thought of their children being, traumatized by a divorce. And not to say that your kids are over it, and they're not going to have some sort of repercussion later on in life. But, as far as like what you can see, how long did it kind of take them to kind of fall into like a good settled, you know
Yeah.
happy life? How long did that kind of take for them to
I
readjust?
It didn't take very long, but
Wow.
it didn't take as long as I thought it was going to, honestly. I feel like, yes, for a while, I feel like all kids want their family to be together. However, there was a lot of toxicity happening, and to no longer have that, then their environment became very peaceful, and they only saw us interacting peacefully or not at all. And I saw a big change in them, like physically and emotionally. Like they used to yell, they used to like, have rants and like tantrums, and they weren't doing so as great in school. And after that happened, like a month or a couple months later, they started like being more calm and more mannerly, and less like aggressive, and they started doing way better in school. And so
Wow.
to me, it was for the best for them.
Yes, absolutely.
And
And I love that you're saying that.
yeah, and now that they're older, they see that like why sometimes we're together, we're still, I don't know, and sometimes we're great, and so I think they know, they've experienced that we are just better this way. And I think they've even said to me, "Mom, we just want you to be happy." And they are fine with if I find someone else, and they just want someone that will love and respect them and they can get along with, but mostly that will just treat their mom and their dad good. And so yeah, we've kept everything like that very private and not really in their life as much. um,
Yeah,
and I think that's really helped too.
that's awesome. I love that. And I love that you're highlighting the fact that their aggression kind of eased after the whole thing, because and that makes sense, because if they're seeing that in their home um, on a regular basis, it'd be easy to kind of fall into that. And a lot of times we don't realize that as parents. We think that having the mom and dad together is the best, and I think we're just now coming into a thought process that it might not be the best. There might be alternatives to it. And hearing your story right there is good evidence towards that. 100%.
Believer. And as I used to never, what's funny is I used to think yoga was not for me. That's how I felt before I dove into it with this life experience. But I truly believe now, like in the law of attraction, and like you attract what you are and what you think, what you be, and what you surround yourself with is who you become. There's a lot of research that you become the 5 people you spend the most time with, and it's really important to be guarded as to who you surround yourself with, what kind of environment you surround yourself with, because you will slowly become them. And so there is something about that, like law of attraction. I feel I've definitely, as I keep exploring and meeting new people and surrounding myself with different things, I've totally grown. So
Absolutely. What were some of the things that you did to heal from your challenges? You were mentioning yoga. What are some of the other things that you did?
so it's funny because I used to be like a runner, like your husband is a runner, a boot camp instructor, cycling. I was all about, I still love cycling, but that's how I got rid of stress. And I was going through a divorce, losing my husband, losing my dad, and losing my financial security. Like all my security as a lady gone.
Wow.
Yeah. And so I was under a lot of stress, and I knew I couldn't keep going to the gym because that's how I needed to relieve stress. I was going to like tear up my body. So I was just going.
Oh, okay. Yeah. Cause if you like worked out that hard, you would start to break yourself down.
Starting to get injuries. And so someone suggested there was a new hot yoga studio in town. And I was like, yeah, yoga is not my thing. And they're like, no, really, you should just try it. Like they have a free week. It's warm. It's supposed to be relaxing. And so I did. I fell in love with it. I loved its power yoga. So it was like hot. It was inspiring mindset. You built strength. I found old muscles like from my dancing career that I'd forgotten.
Yes.
So I got stronger mentally, physically, sweat, de-stressed. Just breathing alone helps you relieve stress and tension and just come into the present. So I could leave all that outside behind and I could just come to my mats and just be, just be.
Yes.
And just inspiring mindsets were really helping me just feel better in my mind and my body. And it wasn't very long. I think it was like only a week, and they were having a teacher training coming up. And because I had taught fitness, in the past, I was like, I don't think I'll ever teach this, but I'm just going to dive in because I know that this has helped me feel better in just this week. And what if I like immerse myself into it for 10 weeks? So that's what I did. I became yoga teacher certified, and what's funny, it was only like probably 5-6 weeks in. I hadn't even completed the program, and my old friends were coming and they're like, Carrie, you're back. And I was like, what do you mean I'm back? And they're like, well, like you used to be so confident and like audacious and goal driven and passion filled, and they're like, you kind of lost that, but like we see you coming back. And I was like, that's awesome. And so it really made me feel more confident in my skin, mind, and body. And then I went to a club, and everyone was like, a lot of people knew me because I used to do management and stuff like that. And they were like, well, didn't you just go through teacher training and whatever? You should teach. And I was like, I don't think I'd ever teach, but okay, it's a free membership. I'll start teaching. So I started teaching yoga, and I loved how I could grow. I grew even more helping other people. And so it was so fun. Like people would come up to me after classes and they'd be like, Carrie, you don't realize this, but you helped me through a very traumatic time, or we would have like intentions for class with like quotes or something like that, mindset. And they would be like, that was exactly what I needed to hear today. And so
Oh,
that's
wow.
awesome. And then I also got into life coaching a lot too. And I was, I was a stay-at-home mom for 6 years. So when I was going through divorce, I also didn't have a career path. Like I literally was at the bottom of the valley.
Wow.
I think that you could be at. And so yeah, I started taking like online career placement tests, and they kept saying I should be a counselor. And I think I did like the mind flip of yoga, how you could come in like having the worst day ever, and in an hour you could leave just feeling bliss, right?
Yes.
So I did love that. And what was funny is I was reading, I dove into a lot of self-help books, and a lot of those were by coaches. And so I didn't realize that I was like feeding my mind with all this positive growth mindset work. Because they were life coaches, I didn't even realize it.
No
Yeah.
kidding. No kidding. So as far as healing, did you jump into this stuff trying to heal, or did you jump into this stuff just because it felt so good?
I feel like, yoga really gets you into your intuition, right? It connects you with like yourself, your soul, and your higher power. And so it really got me into intuition and like feeling. I just started feeling again. I got out of my head, which in yoga we call your ego, right?
Yeah.
A lot of times we self-judge, like, well, if I go try that, people are gonna wonder, whatever, judge me, or what if I fail or whatever. And so I got out of ego, and I really just started following my heart. And I really dove in. I'm like, you know what? I don't care if this is not going to be my career path. I'm going to try a couple different career things. And I'm going to like let go of fear. I'm just going to feel into fear. And try some new things. And I just started trying new, honestly. Like for a week, I tracked with accountability on Facebook. I was like, hey, I'm trying something new every day. And I'd kind of post, and people started to like it. And they're like, okay, what are you doing now? And I think that really helped me get out of my own way
Yeah.
doing exploratory week, because I really was like, okay, obviously where I am is not great. I can go up from here. So I'm going to use this as motivation to like go to a higher place. And so I did. And I journaled a lot. I journaled my feelings, where I was and where I wanted to go, where I wanted to be. And I just started breathing into like feeling I was already there. And
Absolutely.
yeah, I started tackling fears. Oh my goodness. I've tackled so many fears. I think I started like little things like food I didn't think I liked, music I didn't think I liked, I actually love now. Like even yoga was something I didn't think I liked. So I just started opening myself up to new and tackling fears. I had a fear of being underwater, and I scuba dived.
Wow.
I almost killed myself.
While scuba diving or just in general?
So you have to test out to get your license, and I was 25 feet underwater, which one of my fears was underwater, and I was 25 feet underwater in a quarry. I don't know how you say that. It's like a clear lake in Illinois, and it's 25 feet underwater, and you have to like lose your regulator and breathe, and then get it back and clear it, and then breathe, and then you also have to take off your mask for so long, put it on, clear it, and then start breathing. Totally scary.
Yes.
So I did the regulator test. It was all good. Took the mask off. I was so scared. Had my eyes closed. And he tapped me on the shoulder to put it back on. I put it on, and when I put it on, I lost the regulator, so I had nothing. So I quickly re-got the regulator, cleared it, carefully put my mask on, cleared it, and he was like, "Good, you want to go up?" And I was like, "Yeah." And we top, and I was like, "I almost died." And he's like, "Yeah, but you handled it beautifully. You passed." And
Aw.
I almost died. So,
Wow.
but yeah, it really helped me find like my courage and my confidence again. And,